Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast on the internet, for you, and for me. It's a fun time. Welcome back to Manny Talks Shooting. But let's plug the awesome title sponsor of the podcast, the best, the fastest, the less suckiest, Go Fast Don't Suck. Make sure you go check out Go Fast Don't Suck at gofastdon'tsuck.net. Dry fire targets, match banners, match jerseys if you want them, and all the memes that hurt your feelings because they are mostly true. So check out Bill at gofastdon'tsuck.net. Tell him Manny sent you in the comments for the order and move on with your day because that's what you do. Just listen and move on. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk to my good buddy Doug. It's a blast from the past. He's back. It seems like I'm doing all these recap episodes with people lately, but it's fun. So anyways, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you? It's a fine Sunday afternoon when we're recording this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's always a good time though. But we're gonna have fun because we're homies and people need to still know about you and some cool announcements we'll get to shortly. But anyway, for the people who don't remember, you were back on one of the very early episodes of the show. But so let's give them a little bit of a refresher, I guess. And who are you and how did you get into shooting?
Well, hi everybody. My name is Doug Dalsky. I reside in Northern California, about 2.5, 3 hours north of Sacramento area. And well, I got into shooting kind of like a lot of people who are in my area. It's kind of a rural lifestyle, so people have guns and go shooting and things like that. As a kid, I went with on occasion, not really hunting or anything like that, but just kind of out target shooting and shooting soda cans and stuff like that in the middle of nowhere. And that pretty much died off until my teen years, and then I kind of got involved with my late teenage years, I should say. Got involved with my local gun club and started shooting service rifle type matches, center fire pistol matches, kind of stand and shoot stuff, kind of like CMP style shooting, iron sight, military style rifles. And then one day I heard about this thing called a pistol match, and I went in feet first into that, and here we are today.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. You've dabbled into all that and you've gone into, USPSA primarily, it seems like, but now you've been playing with rifles lately too again. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was during my sabbatical slash waiting for my gun to get to me for my new one. I had some free time on my hands, so I dug out the rifles out of the safe and got hooked up with some buddies, and we kind of got the long range bug and started shooting some PRS style rifles and building up some stuff along with a lot of 22 stuff, which is still honestly where my heart's kind of at in my spare time, and it's a kick in the pants to have and do that.
Yeah, the 22 matches are so fun and it's kind of cool, but it's a pain in the ass if you think about it, due to the fact that you got to find the right ammo at 22. So you could buy a bunch of 22 ammo that your gun absolutely hates and it doesn't group worth a crap.
Yeah, literally. Or you could have one, because it goes off of lots and SKUs. And like, not only is it a brand, like, let's just say CCI or SK or Lapua and all those other ones and Elite, which Elite is one of the best. But like, the fact is like you could have one set, one stuff, one lot, all that stuff that works great in one gun. And literally you could get another gun or another barreled action. And that's going to hate that stuff. And you got to begin this whole search of finding ammo that it shoots halfway decent, and you're not in control of it as far as getting to load it, but you are in control of getting to choose it and buy it. And going through a place like Kill House Shooting Center, whatever that place is out of Texas, that is a big Ely one. You can actually pick out your lot and all that stuff. But yeah, a 22 is different, man. Like you either get into long range and you got to load your 6 BRs or your 6 PRSs and all those other crazy cartridges, and you're annealing brass and trimming brass and special powder loads and trying to figure out, oh, this, I need Varget, or my gun likes Lever Revolution more, and then all that craziness, and then only to shoot 1,000 rounds and have to replace your barrel. Versus 22, you can just kind of deal with having to find an ammo that your gun likes, then buy as much as you can find, and then play that way.
Oh yeah, and it's so interesting. I've been talking to my neighbor more lately, who is a PRS guy, F class kind of guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I can only get 1,500 rounds out of my 308 barrels." I'm like, "Oh, I mean, luckily he's got a
Yeah.
machining background, so he's like, just buy a blank and make it my damn self. But it's like,
Hmm.
oof. Or how
Yeah,
to,
rifle stuff makes us look poor, honestly, even in open. Like if you go to a full blown PRS build between glass and a chassis and barrel and comp and just everything that goes into a full PRS build, you're talking like top end infinity money for just the gun itself, just for the rifle.
oh
And
yeah,
then you
and
got to
it
have two of them.
and they're like 18 to 22 pounds.
Oh, even more than that. Like they can. I've picked up a guy's rig this at our last local PRS style match. His rifle, I think, was 28 or 32 pounds. It was insane. It was literally a tank with weights on the inside and on the outside. And he's shooting this like little cartridge, and I'm like, really? He's like, well, it doesn't move. Here, try it. And I shot it. I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't. I get it, but dang, freaking tank.
Yeah. No, there's some they're pretty skilled shooters though when you think about it. But their triggers are like, here, just let me sneeze real quick and it goes on.
Yeah, like you get into those Timney hits and the trigger text and all that stuff, and like has a maximum weight of like 1 pound, and like the lowest is 4 ounces on some of the Anschutz like Ventress guns, and even these PRS style guns you can get down that low. It's pretty insane what the rifle world thinks of as a heavy trigger.
Oh yeah. What a heavy trigger is and what a heavy trigger to a pistol shooter is totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got a little bit of the long range bug while I was chilling, and I still think I'm going to get into that more as I progress, just as something to back up, not to have to always shoot pistols and stuff all the time. Because shooting things at long range, even if it's on a scale of 22 long range, is really a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, shooting is shooting and shooting is fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I guess so we can I guess you want to share your big announcement? I mean, you posted it on social media after coming back to social media for a while, so but go
Well,
ahead.
I posted and ghosted. So for anybody who I haven't liked or responded to their comments or even some messages, I've kind of adapted that whole thing when it comes to social media. I post and ghost. Yeah, so I'm officially on the Masterpiece Arms pistol team, shooting for them with my DS9 DL comp, which is a full length 9 millimeter major 2011 wide body 1911 gun.
Yeah, and you've been pretty happy with it so far, it seems like. From
I'm pretty stoked. It's been a treat to shoot. Tuning ammo to the gun was really not that hard. Uh, David and Andrew had pretty much got it all dialed in, and I just went off of what they said and suggested it. I didn't copy their load disclaimer because legal reasons. But I figured out my own load kind of based off suggestions, and yeah, the gun's running ridiculously flat and is really tracking them too. Like having a gun that shoots flat's one thing, but having that dot movement that's up and down and how David helped, basically design the gun around consistent dot movement, is pretty freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, and it is really cool, especially when you've got a builder who's able to listen to you and you figure something out, and it just kind of works as like a formula, right? Now,
Yeah.
and the nice thing is, your load was not much different. The gun was kind of designed around your powder you're originally using, but then when you switch out to new powders too, it seems like they weren't that far off. They were pretty much similar.
Pretty much similar. Yeah. I've been running major pistol for a long time, pretty much since I started shooting open. And that, of course, has been long gone. And I'm lucky that I was supplied with a lot of it and I dwindling on my supply. So I built an HS6 load. I'm going to build an accurate number 7 load as well. It's just, open powders, especially 9, you're kind of limited to what's on the market and what are your choices?
Hmm.
3N38, 3N37, number 7, HP 38, or not sorry, HS6. There's like 5 or 6 powders that everybody uses. Kind of pick and choose what you're willing to pay and what you kind of want to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends, right? Like I've been looking, speaking of powders, I've been looking at like 3 or 4, and it's like what's available. Luckily, everything's kind of coming back in availability, at least online.
Yeah,
But I can't find anything locally because no one's putting powder on the shelves. It seems like, but
that
so
sucks that you can't find stuff locally. I'm lucky that like my kind of podunk gun store that's like the old school gun store that's like in a feed store kind of a thing, like the old town kind of thing. You go buy your horse feed, your fishing lures, and then they also have a gun store. And they actually have powder in stock, like a decent variety too, honestly. But it's $45 a pound plus tax. So I mean, you're paying basically what you pay for shipping 1 pound of it from Powder Valley or somewhere else. So really, it's not that bad, but it's not like getting a good deal, which there are no good deals in reloading anymore, unfortunately.
No, I mean, it all depends on if you know a guy who's got a big stash that they're willing to part with some. Luckily, I've got a buddy where he's got some powder close to him. He lives in the state, so it's quite nice of he kind of sees and goes to different gun shops. He's able to pick up powder every once in a while, so he's been texting me lately if I want some or not. So
Well,
he's
that's
got,
good. That saves you.
yeah, I just got to go up and meet him. It's like a couple-hour drive, but it's no big deal.
That's what the commuter car's for, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have the car to shoot matches and go get stuff.
I like it. That's why I bought my car, the Matchmobile, dude. I went from having a pickup to a four-door car that I could throw the homies in and we could all go shoot together. And had a giant trunk. Like I didn't buy it because it was stylish. I bought it because it was economical and fit all my stuff.
Yeah, actually lately I was talking to the wife and I'm really thinking about selling the truck and the car and getting myself like a Subaru what is it, a Crosstrek? Yeah, no, something like that. It's one of those all-wheel drive Subarus, and because I was driving in one the other day and I'm like, this is really nice and roomy, but it has enough room for people and you'll crap. And it gets to like 37, 38 to the gallon. So I'm like, I can live with that.
You start doing that, you're gonna have to start selling Dutch Bros coffee and shooting a Gray Guns 320. You can't shoot open anymore. You're gonna start. We'll call you Kenny Platt Jr.
Hey, Kenny Platt actually does spew a lot of sense lately. I mean,
He does.
he does, and I miss this. I mean, this is not a jab at Steiner because life is busy and Range Panda has blown up past his, I think, his wildest dreams. But I do
100%.
miss the make ready / perfect double podcast because Kenny would get on there and start spewing gospel. It seems like, and I was like,
Really, it was, yeah. Well, and if you think about it, you listen to Brian's podcast, right, about the behind the lens stuff thing.
mm-hmm,
He referenced them the other day, and that's how I think he found. I can't remember. He said when he first started getting into USPSA stuff, their podcast was one of the first ones he started listening to, which I thought was cool because like I've known Kenny since like the beginning of my shooting career and Steiner. Like it was cool to see that Brian, this guy who's known all over the country and parts of the world too about in the shooting sports, and he was listening to people that I know and we've all kind of grew up around and shooting, hearing from, and it's cool that Brian started hearing from them as well from this little podcast. Three dudes who like to talk shit and have a good time.
yeah, absolutely, and it's awesome like that. And I, I wish I wish they could get do a reunion episode like once a year, just to like even just to spew what they want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about, but it's okay.
Yeah, we all know they're too busy. We have to just settle for Kenny getting on lives with random people, either whether they be on YouTube or Instagram and spouting facts.
Yeah, I don't know, but this has been a couple years ago. But I love it when Kenny was getting his house built by the Mexicans, and Tim was building his house all by himself.
Oh,
And
that was hilarious. He's like, I
Kenny's,
just go over there and things are changing. There's a group of guys. They might be brown and they might be building things.
yeah. But then it was always the fun fact. Do you want me to send some to you?
Yeah, Tim's like, I could do it myself. And then I hated doing it by myself.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was like, this is the worst. I hate this, but it's all
But
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah, it's nice to hear from them every once in a while, and
it is. It's nice to see Steiner flashes stuff on occasion when like you'll send me links to what he's doing. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like you got it. You no longer pull. You got it. Like rocket, dude.
yeah. Oh yeah, and that's it's so cool to be honest. Like I mean, for our audio listeners, they're not gonna love it like this, but like I mean, like look at they have their own thumb rest. This is actually their first
Yeah,
thumb.
dude.
They got the second thumb rest too, but and a lefty
Well, that's a
model.
big thing. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, the people that we've seen, even in the time that you've been around and I've been around, maybe a little bit longer, but like just who we've seen as far as people on Instagram or people that we know or seen at shooting competitions to grow their brand from, basically nothing, like helping out bros at the range with Dylan tabs on their 1050 to now these guys are doing all that laser cut stuff. Gianni's, seeing all this crazy stuff. And like, I'm happy to see them succeed. Like, it's really, you know, it's one of those things which you don't hit up your homies for a discount. You hit up your homies and people you know and you like because you want to support their business. And it's good to see people that we know who are successful and they're killing it. They're growing their personal dream of building their own business and it's successful. I couldn't be happier for those guys. It's really awesome to see.
Oh yeah, it's definitely nice, and you're able to you're able to buy from them, and they're like, sweet, I get to go spend another 20 hours doing something else, but they still, well, which is smart. Steiner still has a real job, and Gianni still works on the farm, so They always got the
Yeah, I
money
was
coming
gonna
in.
say they got their insurance and they got their money coming in on the side hustle. That's the thing, is like the side business finally becoming its own business. But if you can run both, like they're both being very successful from what it seems, from what we're told. And I'm just couldn't be happier for them, man. It's good to see.
Hmm. So, which is nice is I guess we forgot to say this, but how did you get involved with MPA in the beginning anyway?
Oh yeah, I totally spaced all that. We started talking about other stuff. Rabbit Trail.
Hmm.
So I basically got hooked up through MPA through Travis. I took one of his classes, training wise, when he came down to Richmond maybe the year before. It's a blur. And I took one of his 2 day high speed marksmanship classes. I think that's what it's called, and it was amazing. I learned a lot from his class. I've taken two classes, him and Tim Herron's class so far, which is the only formal training I've had besides shooting with the bros at the range and getting an education from major matches. But yeah, I kind of blossomed into a friendship, and then the opportunity was presented to me to potentially join the team, and I agreed to that, and was part of helping kind of design my gun as it went along, working with David as we were going through and kind of like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you like about that? Even though I didn't have the gun yet, but I have pretty decent knowledge of like open guns, because I'm one of those people like, hey, there's a new open gun, let me play with it. Or, oh, you got a new Infinity or Lemcat or Atlas, like, let me see it. Can I go shoot it? Like, I want to see and feel things, because I'm going to like a gun a certain way versus how you're going to like a gun. And we kind of had that going back and forth too, with when you were getting your gun built. And we talked about, hey, like, this is what I've kind of felt, I've seen, so it worked into that. And then, yeah, I got the gun a while ago. I'm not going to say when, but I got it. And it's been flawless ever since. Runs minor ammo. That's like 127, 128 power factor, even with all those popple holes, reliably for me, at least with my spring and load combos. And then runs really hot major loads too. And don't move much.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of cool to, your gun, you gave it input in on it and it's all black because you're lame, I guess. And, or, well, it was all black, wasn't it? Now it's not.
It was originally black and orange, and I had a different thumb rest and sight combo and stuff like that. But I went with a different optic that won't fit on that. And then I had the Magwell, they custom Cerakoted for me orange. Like, it was a whole, hey, do you want this too? Like, it's not offered on the website or by any means colors that my gun is, but they hooked it up for me because they know I liked orange, and they were really accommodating,
Hmm.
and getting that to me. And I've got other Magwells as well. But yeah, it's pretty much a two-tone look of just black with a little bit of flair of orange thrown in, because that's what I like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all got our own favorite colors. I mean, like, I will still argue that green is the best color, but not everything can be green. But unless you're
Yeah, I
wearing an
got.
MPA jersey, then it's all green.
I was gonna say I'm wearing your favorite color. I wore it yesterday at my first local. Like, yeah, I wore a bunch of green yesterday.
Yeah. Did it feel weird that it wasn't orange?
No, not exactly. I still see, that's the thing. Like, all my local friends, and they're almost like family at this point. We're like, oh, where's the orange? Where's the orange? And I had people commenting on things like, where's the orange on your gun? I'm like, it's right here on the Magwell. Like, I got a little splash of it, but I've kind of dialed back the orange thing and been looking for more of a professional look. My new belt that Jason made, which is one of my sponsors as well with Dominate Defense, just like with you. Um, he they remade me a belt without me even asking, with orange stitching instead of just the whole thing being orange. So the main body's black, stitching is orange.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's been really awesome.
Yeah, and Jason makes phenomenal belts. It was funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting a couple messages or calls from people about the belts. Like, I don't even have the newest inner belt, and I'm like, this is how I think it works, guys. Because I don't have it.
I do, and I've had it for a while, and it's awesome. Like, if whenever Jason makes you one, which he will eventually, because you know, he's the most generous person I've ever met in my life. Honestly, him and his wife are amazing, great, down to earth, salt of the earth people. But whenever you get one, it is a game changer. It's much better than the original inner one. You don't have to deal with that hook getting in the way and stuff, and it gets super tight. Like, I was showing it off yesterday at my local match, and had some people, and I was kind of showing them how tight you can get it, and it's even tighter than the original style belts, which is really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, but it's still got the metal liner in it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that thing's still super stiff.
Good. Yeah, because I know that well, between the renditions, because I've got the old one that's got the hook with no metal, I've got the one with the metal and the hook, and they're completely different. But I use the non-hook, the non-metal one is my dry fire pants because they just stay on the dry fire pants.
That's the majority of what I leave the new belt on too, is on my dry fire shorts.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not freezing. It's not freezing cold up here, so I can dry fire in shorts. But
Mm-hmm.
I got those in that, and it's just it's a game changer. It's really sweet.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Well, how long have you had that original belt anyway?
The one before it, I had like 18 to 20 months. I have the inner belts as well, which I still wear every day. I have the new carry belt as well, but I don't dry fire with that. That's just like my carry belt. But the other two, I've literally had the same inner belts as my everyday. Let's go to work. Let's on my day off, stuff like that. I'm not a huge leather belt with the little snap thing. Like I don't dig that. Just my Mach 1 inner belt for almost 3 years now, something like that,
Yeah.
and it's still solid.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, that belt, that even that outer belt's going to last 4 to 5 times longer than any double alpha premium belt. Like I say in the commercial that everyone loves listening to at some point throughout this, they'll get to hear the commercial. But yeah, I just think they're so much better than the regular inner outer belt combo, inner than the regular, you know, just Velcro, because the Velcro gives up eventually, and then it's useless.
100%. Well, not only that, like I was messing with I when I was moving some stuff around a while ago, I found one of my old CR speed belts, and I was really surprised just the rigidity of it. Like I had that thing for a while, but then I took my Dominate belt, my old one that I had for like 18 months, the outer one, and I was just playing with it, and it was the new high torque one or whatever it was at the time when I got it, the CR
Mm-hmm.
speed belt, and it's not even comparable. Like it's not even in the same ballpark of like what it is. And sure, it's cheap, but it's made somewhere that isn't America. We all know where that is. And at least with Dominate Defense, you're getting an American product made by, you know, people who are shooters and who support the business and or support the sports that we all play and the games that we like to spend our weekends playing. Like it's an amazing product.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it absolutely is. And Jason's, like we said, is one of those salt of the earth kind of people. He'll give you the shirt off his back or the chaps off his ass. No, but if you didn't know,
He
Jason,
does so.
he does. He makes chaps.
He
If
has
you
got chaps. He'll give you
got,
chaps.
yeah, exactly. But no, if anyone doesn't know, go check out the episode with Jason Bunderson of Dominate Defense. It's a middle of the road one, so go check it out. It's somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly what number off the top of my head, but Jason's a great dude, and I'll say it now. Manny Talks 10 to get 10% off your Mach 1 Speedball combo order. Just do it now. Anyway, but
100%. I've sent like 15 people your code just so they can order stuff because I don't have a code. I'm like, wait, Alex has a code, or I can use the Paracast. Like,
I
it's
mean,
all
I
good. Let's just
I was
use
I
it.
gave Jason so much shit that I was using the
Oh my
Paracast code.
gosh.
I was like,
That
bro,
was what, like 8 months of trying to twist him around to try and get like an actual code for you. That was awesome.
yeah. But I was just using the Paracast code. I mean, it's on the internet, so you can find it pretty easy. But
Technically, yeah.
but yeah. So Manny Talks 10 for 10% off your Mach 1 Speed Belt combo. You'll thank me later.
100% make the investment. That's one of those things. Like one of your questions are always like, what would you do sooner? And take a real class from one of those top 5 people that go around the country, and get a Mach 1 speed. Period. Like if you're in shape and you take, everything's staying the way it's going to be, pretty much, just invest the money. If you're going to be in this game for the long run, I'm not telling like I had a brand new shooter come up to me the other day, or yesterday, not the other day, asking me about belts, and I was like, man, like honestly, like if getting your first belt, like hey, get whatever you can get the cheapest one you can get, the Amazon special, whatever, and then if you decide that like this is like where you want to be, then yeah, I'll hook it up and like go through Dominate Defense because you're going to buy once, try once, and be happier than you're ever going to need. It's going to be better than you're ever going to need.
Mm-hmm. I will say the only other belt I would ever consider is the Lynx, due to the fact if you plan on losing or gaining weight. Like
Yes.
that is like the Lynx belt's like, oh, I'm gonna lose some weight this year. That's great. Get the Lynx belt so then you can take Lynx out, make it smaller for you. But and then order a Mach 1 speed belt combo when you're done. But now that Leif's making that ratchet for the Lynx, it's kind of cool. Because the downside of the Lynx was that old buckle system the double alpha made.
100%.
But I mean, I am a little partial. I like Jason and his products, but that's beside
100%. I'm overly partial, just like I am towards MPA. Like they're both amazing companies with amazing people behind their who stand behind their products.
Yeah. Well, and David's a cool dude. David's been on the podcast before too. I'm hoping at some point I can get him back on here and chit chat. But um it's just cool because he was building his own guns for a long time, and then he gets dragged into MPA and evolves, and I don't think he ever expected himself to be where he's at now.
No, and David's really stepped into that role of being like the head gunsmith, customer service guy. Like him and Travis take a lot of the calls and messages and stuff like that. Even people like what I've heard of how dealing with him, and everybody's been satisfied with that. And that's what really made me really excited to work with MPA and with David and Travis on the whole thing, is because I had heard just how good customer service was there and how everybody was treated. And I can stand to a fact and be able to say that as well. That like anytime I've needed help or support or extra parts, or I wanted to try this or whatever, like they've been super accommodating, very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome like that. Now, yeah, you said that you just got back into your first match of the year. How did it go?
It was fun. What's funny is I haven't been nervous at a match that wasn't a big match. Like last time I was nervous at a match was probably Dragon's Cup 2.0, but like I haven't been nervous at a local in a long time, couple years at least. I'm always just like, whatever. It's a local, let's have fun. I'm taking it serious, but like I'm not nervous. I was nervous coming back for the first time, but like I come Wednesday, Wednesday I decided I was going to shoot the match, registered and all that stuff. Dude, Thursday, Friday, I was nervous. Saturday morning, I woke up at my usual time. Well, I slept at like till like 4. And dude, I was nervous. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get let's have some coffee, let's eat some breakfast. And like, I'm nervous. Like I dry fired twice. Okay, yeah. I added some extra lube to the gun. Got there early, right after 7 o'clock, and started helping build stages. We threw together 3 stages, and then we convert them because we're limited to 3 bays at my home club, and then shot the next 3. So it was a 6-stage local with a class fire. It went really well. First stage is the same one I posted up. The first stage I shot was the one I posted up today. I had 3 no shoots on the day of just being a little overzealous with that super light trigger. But other than that, everything was solid. No malfunctions, which I really haven't had any to speak, besides magazine problems that I had from Gen 1s that are not in spec or even reliable. They were just old ones that I had laying around that I wanted to try when I was practicing with the gun before the match. But at the match itself, it went really well. Like uh, I was happy with movement and stage planning. That gun's laser beam accurate. We had a plate rack, I think, at like 15 yards, and then some partials stretched out, and didn't care. It just took care of business.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too. But yeah, you got back. It was nice. You took the high overall by a handed amount. So
Yeah, I mean, I hate the whole HOA thing. Like, it's cool and all, but we all know there's no HOA in any of our USPSA matches. It's by division. But yes, I took the HOA and had a really good match. It I have some more things that I want to work on. Like that's the main thing. Like going forward, as I like to shoot local every once in a while, is to just kind of pick up on things that I forgot that I had to do with, and that I need to work, that I want to work on being more efficient on, whether that's positional entries and exits, or having the gun up soon enough to start shooting, or not shooting aggressive enough, or maybe like was yesterday, shot a little too aggressive with some 12 and 13 splits on some targets that I probably should picked up some no shoots, but trying to shoot pretty much fearless and lights out moving forward to get that next gear for this year. And yeah, that's how it went.
thanks everybody for stopping in the middle of this awesome episode with my buddy Doug Dalsky, a team member of MPA. But we need to talk about the sponsors of the podcast because we need them, and they support the podcast greatly with all what they do and supporting me as well. So let's talk about them. Go Fast, Don't Suck. As I say in the beginning of the episode, they've got awesome products, dry fire targets, match banners, jerseys for your matches, shirts and apparel. They've got everything you kind of need as a shooter. Memes, like I say. But anyway, Bill Duda does good work, so go check him out and give him some support. Hunters HD Gold. Brian's the hardest working man in the shooting sports, I want to say. He does a phenomenal job. Great customer service by his company to shooters, for shooters, by shooters. I mean, they're phenomenal guys and girls there at the lab at Optical Prescription. But anyway, go check them out, huntershdgold.com. Get your next pair of Hunters HD Gold or Hunters HD Ruby in the mail soon. Also run over to Dominate Defense, Jason Bunderson. We talk about him a lot in the beginning of the show. Go check them out. Phenomenal belts. Dominate Defense can last 4 to 5 times longer than any double alpha premium belt. and I guarantee it, it's fantabulous. The ratchet is great and tight and smooth. Run over to divtechshop.com. Nathan Dively's company makes those awesome 3D printed magnets for your belts. So go use those. Those are freaking fantastic. Manny Talks Shooting gets you 10% off that order. Use the code. Don't forget, run over to laughandload.com. My friends Tony and Jackie Salas's company. They awesome apparel. They've got the official Manny Talk Shooting t-shirt, the only place you can get it. They've got the AFT agent shirt, Supreme Division shirts, Bro Do Dry Fire shirt, a whole bunch of awesome merch that you need in your life because they're awesome. So go check them out. Great people, great friends, great family to me. I love them to death. But anyway, also Range Panda, RPG2, Eric Steiner, Gianni Giordano, great, awesome shooters, guys. They love the sport. They're putting out a lot of crazy, awesome products. Pistol stands, laser cut foam. I've got mine on order for my open gun in the case I already own. 3D printed stuff for your press, CNC stuff for your press, you name it, they've got it. The sky's the limits with them, guys. So go check them out. Rangepanda.com. Don't forget, run over to Targets USA Manufacturers, the finest steel targetry on the planet. Steve Anderson says it. I say it because it's true. I love their pistol stands. Not their pistol stands. Why do I say that? I just said that earlier. Their target stands. Their Rhino knockdowns are great with their hangers. Great for practice by yourself, or so you don't have to reset them, or you can reset them every time. That's up to you. Great products, and I love them. I use them at my range sessions. Don't forget, we've also got TimHeronShooting.com, guys. He got me on the map, so hey, check him out. Find a class near you. He got me on the map, so he can get you started anywhere too. Also, don't forget Chile Custom Gunworks, guys. Go get an L2 grip, E2 grip. Put it on that staccato. You never know how awesome you want to be, or prodigy. So you want to have all that awesome grip. If you're building an open gun or a limited gun, Chile Custom Gunworks Parks, they're the finest. But there's the commercial, guys. There's the talk about the sponsors. Let's get back to this awesome conversation with my friend Doug Dulski. Yeah. What majors are you planning on hitting this year anyway?
My only goal this year for a major match is going to be national. I had the opportunity to sign up for a couple other majors so far, and I have declined them. I'm focused on nationals, and that's it.
That's not bad though. It keeps it honest, and especially with your work schedule. You know, you never want to overextend yourself too.
Yeah, the whole life I've really learned that my lessons through shooting, and that's like newer shooters. I really hope and I like try and get people to understand if they actually talk to me about it. I'm trying to be as vocal as I can be. Don't put yourself in a financial hole. I can't remember what podcast or person told me about it, or talk about how marriages got ruined and businesses squashed and stuff like that when I first started shooting. Like, it's real. I put myself into debt, making poor decisions, shooting too much in the past, and doing things that I really got involved with that I shouldn't have. Like putting myself on edge to go shoot a match, and it cost me $1,000. Like just pure cost of travel. You know, a lot of guys, even shooting a lot of locals can add up if you time in your gas and time. Like, shoot what you're able to shoot, dry fire what you can, and take the time that you need to. But you try not do it with moderation, everybody. Like getting wrapped around the axle, thinking you have to shoot a match every weekend. I've been there, done that. It's really a lot, and just work on what you can work on and do what you can do. Don't overexert yourself financially, physically, or mentally. This is a game. Let's have fun and enjoy it for what it is.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun, and we do it for the camaraderie of the sport and the people we get to know and hang out with. Because, like I said, some of my best friends are from the shooting sport. Even though, like you, we haven't actually met in person yet, but you're one of my homies. And
100%, you're one of my best friends, and we've literally never met in person. Like, I'm like, okay, when can I fly out to BFE, Michigan? Like, I'll try to go see you and the fur babies and like have some fun. But yeah, some of my friends in the shooting sports are, old enough to be my parents and stuff, and yet some that are younger than me too, and right about our age. Like, it is a really good group of people. There's some toxic people as well, but you just kind of let those people do what they're going to do, and you try and just enjoy the most you can with what you have. And really, everybody should just realize that we're in this game, we enjoy it. Let's just have fun and enjoy each other's company.
Oh, absolutely. So, do you think you're going to get a Northern California slot to nationals for early registration?
Probably. I got one last year. I'm sure I might be able to get a sponsored slot as well for nationals. Either way, yeah, I should be able to, whether it's through earned spot or through sponsorship.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
had the potential for both last year, and it just didn't work out financially.
well, yeah, especially with it moving all the way back to Talladega from Colorado.
Well, yeah, airfare went for me from like 560 round trip to almost a grand. Like, and that's just an airfare. Some people be like, "Oh, well, that's not that much," but not all of us can be balling out like that. Like, I'm, not afraid to say that couldn't afford it. Like, it is what it is. This is a hobby. This isn't like you have to choose between paying your rent and feeding yourself and shooting. It's really, let's not go into credit card debt to go shoot a match. Let's just have a good time and try and
That's why,
save up for it.
that's why they make ramen noodles, Dougie.
No,
28
no
cents a
Mariscal
pack.
noodle for me. Dude, they're like
28.
$1 now. It's so bad.
Go to Costco. Go to Costco. You go to Costco. Go just
I was
find
there
them
today.
there. I was at Sam's Club today. It was glorious. So,
Dude,
I
I've
mean,
never been to a Sam's Club.
it's like Costco. It's just named different, but they still have chickens that are like $5. So, I mean, it's kind of the same principle, right? But I got these giant hoagie rolls. I'm not gonna lie, this thing's like 14 inches long, probably by 4 inches wide, and there was a pack of 6 of them for like $6. I'm like, yes, it's gonna be delicious sandwiches all week.
That's hilarious. You do get some good big giant food things at all those places.
But
But
I
yeah,
like,
Nationals is the only big match.
yeah. I will like to say going to Sam's Club or Costco, you just kind of like you can get those bulkish foods like, oh, I'm gonna have yogurts for lunch all week. So it's like, yeah, go buy my yogurt. But yeah, I'm excited for you going to Nationals. It's back in Talladega again. So you'll get to finally go to Talladega because you haven't been there yet, have you?
Negative Ghost Rider. The furthest east I've been is Odessa, Texas.
And that's not even east, it's just Texas.
No, it's kind of the middle of the country.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Odessa. I mean, they're supposed to have Dragons Cup 3.0 this year.
There's a waiting list that's pretty big too for that match, is what I've heard.
Yeah, people are crazy though. Like to get on the wait list that deep, it's like it's not gonna happen, people. It's not gonna happen.
No, but that match is, I mean, I've heard people who are multiple national champions go, literally, this is the best match I've ever shot. And,
Besides it,
think,
besides it being in Odessa, Texas, where it's hot as shit.
yeah, and it's
Mhm.
kind of a rough town. I mean, it's a big area because there's a lot of money there with all the oil well drilling stuff. But like, you fly into Midland, which is honestly a pretty good sized city. I mean, it's not like Sacramento or what you call it, Chicago or something like that, but like it's a pretty big town. Airport's tiny, but there's a lot of stuff to do there. But then you go to Odessa, which is like really tiny, and yeah, it's a little sketch, but a good, really good match.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. And I'm hoping to be able to get down there. I don't know, maybe I want to go to try all these different matches, but it just seems like I'm stuck kind of in my little area for working matches and whatnot. Like this is the year I'm expanding greatly. Like last year, I only worked two major matches. Now I'm going up to 5 this year for 23. So
Yeah, but where you're at, there's a lot of good majors like that. Ryan Rocks one, and you got area matches near you and some other stuff like that. Like, at least you have the possibility of that stuff. It's pretty cool.
yeah, like if I looked at it, like even when um the area matches at its farthest point for me, like in actuality, it's still only a 6 hour drive to go shoot the area match in Kentucky if I had to. So, but I'm finally at the point where I can go and volunteer to all those matches that I need to. So
Yeah, what
that
made you get into that? I'm not sure I've ever even asked you about that. Of like, what I know you wanted to get your RO cert to kind of learn about it, but you work a fair amount of matches, and like you, this year's big for you, working a bunch of matches. What made you really want to go that route and devote your time and honestly vacate and money and vacation time to get involved with this?
well, when it comes to finances, right? Like if you think about it too, um, I couldn't have if I wanted to shoot all these big major matches. Everyone's like, "Oh, go shoot majors," and they're a lot of fun. I'm like, "Okay, that's right, they're fun." When you start adding up how many you want to shoot, it's like, well, there's $150 a pop essentially just on the match, plus driving, hotels, food. You're like, well, how am I going to afford this? Oh, shoot the match for free, and they pay for your hotel, and you're pretty much covered. So that's really kind of where it started. But like, I really in 22, I got hooked up with my gun club. I'm very fortunate to be in that group of people that I'm with on a week in, week out basis, prepping for our matches because I'm one of the match directors at the club, uh, and kind of developing our program. And it's just been fun to get involved in a group to then want to go and work all these majors with them. So we try to carpool as much as we can to save ourselves gas because there's no point if all of us are going to the same place for all of us to drive. So it's kind of how it is. And I just like to give back. I like to volunteer, I guess. Like I just have a caring like spirit, I guess, is to give back enough. So
That's good, man. That's kind of what I figured it was, because now after you explained it, you've kind of broken that down in different bits and pieces before. But that's really awesome. People like you are really what make our sport happen. There's people who are, who can RO at their local matches, but never go and work a major, let alone a section or even an area match. And so guys like you are really what makes it happen, both on a local and obviously even a bigger scale. Like you've talked about maybe doing nationals and other things like that. Like I'm sure to appreciate people like you. That's awesome that you have that drive. And even though like how you're explaining the reasons why, still it takes the kind of person you are to do that. It's really awesome.
Well, and I was talking to my buddy Corey the other day, Corey Katz. If you didn't know, guys, go back listen to the Buckeye Blast episode. He's going to run stats. He's been a big part of their match. Um, but anyway, I've been talking to him, and we were kind of in a conversation like in our area, not even just like our area 5, but like as like a circuit of major matches. There's only a few of us young guys running around ROing these major matches. Um, which is very surprising, and it's actually it's good for us, but it's also bad because we see that the old guard essentially is still there, and eventually they're going to stop. Without fresh blood coming in, major matches will be harder to have, and um, less opportunity. Less staff are going to be willing to work matches because they get overworked and or not enough people sign up. That's the rough part, is if you have to cancel a match because we couldn't get enough volunteers and we couldn't get enough paying competitors to come shoot the match, so we're going to cancel it. Unfortunately, like Indiana for the past 2-3 years, they've had to cancel their section match just because they didn't get enough people to sign up.
Yeah, that's kind of hard, right? That's what is that? Is that a people thing, like you were mentioning about people getting older and stuff, or is that a culture thing? Like, I don't know how you feel about that, or what we see online is it's kind of hard. What you people complain about this and they talk about that. Is it a small majority or is it just people who are willing to say stuff? But then you go to the local level and it's like I just said, there's people who are willing to RO at a local level, but shit, just getting them to go and shoot like an area match, they would never do that. They're cool with just being at that local level, but we need people at all, aspects of the top to the bottom. And people complain about how, we want competitive quality at big matches and all this other stuff. We should pay people and other things like that. But it's just like anything. It's a freelance economy where, you get what you pay for, and people are, this is a mainly volunteer sport. And people who, whatever age bracket, whoever and whatever they are, they're willing to volunteer their time, barely get paid, and like get maybe some free food in a hotel, and they're sitting there working their butts off for a week or two straight. Like, come on, guys, let's just be thankful for what we have and continue to support who really matters, which is, each other on that way, and just the whole sport in general. Getting wrapped around the axle over all the drama doesn't do anything good for anybody. Doesn't do anything to benefit.
Right. Well, and if you think about it too, it's we do need. I was remembering my a buddy of mine, Tom Castro, was like, "I am just a shooter," and the sport still
Mhm.
needs but he's not just a shooter. He's a trainer. He runs his local matches down in Florida. But when it comes to a major, he is just a shooter because we still need those guys too. We need the guys to pay the slots, pay for the match and to put it on the ground because matches cost money and people don't realize the biggest expense is staff. To be able to put them up in a
Yeah.
hotel for X amount of days. Really, we don't get any other compensation than our hotels covered. But you got to also make sure that you're staying with somebody else. You can't just, not everyone's getting a free single room, um, because
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
that's the
feasible.
thing. No, it's so expensive, and yet people, nationals is this much money, and area two so expensive. It's like even at the cost that it's at, if you really think about it, I had a good buddy of mine, childhood friend. He's wanting to get into this, and he came and checked out the match in my local match yesterday, and he was like, "Well, how much is this to shoot it?" And I was like, $20. Our local is really cheap. Usually 30 bucks is average, but ours is 20. And he's like, "Wow, that's really cheap. I was expecting like $100. And how about a big match?" And I was like telling him, and then how much, an area match versus national. So he goes, "Even that seems really cheap for, I've looked it up online, like just from a layman's perspective, basically, like a guy who doesn't really know much." He's like, "Really? It's that much stuff? Like you get to shoot all this and you just show up and you get to shoot it? Like you don't have to help with anything. You're not expected to contribute, like bring targets or something." Like he was like, "You don't bring targets to this? Like the club actually provides those?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's part of the match fee." You know, we kind of we enjoy this part of it, or we forget to, what it all goes into making matches, whether it's local or big matches. oh, this match is so much money, or it's $260 for the sectional. Like, that's still a bargain. We're getting a lot out of our money. And just because the prizes aren't what we want, the match itself is what you're paying for, the experience. I think, what's his name? The Colorado Panda,
Oh,
Charlie
Charlie
Perez.
Perez.
He's like, you're paying, what you're paying for an experience and paying for a match with that dollar amount. Like, what are you getting with your money? It's true. Like, we're getting a lot for what we get with our money most of all. Are there matches that aren't as great, that they kind of skimp on things? Sure. But they're doing the best that they can do, and it's a volunteer game. So
Hmm.
try and enjoy it for what it is.
Right. Well, and then at the point is the shooter is a customer and a competitor at that point too. Because if a shooter doesn't like your match or doesn't want to come back, they're not going to pay it. So you're gonna
No,
miss out on that opportunity of even putting on a match maybe because, like I said, you don't get enough shooters. But it's the reputations of good matches that need to extend on. But um, and like we talked about Dragons Cup a minute ago, Dragons Cup is an unrealistic expectation for most other
100%.
major matches. Marco, I don't like to throw Marco under the bus here, but he don't care what it's going to cost him. He's going to find a way to expense it and write it off. I don't care what you're going to say to me. Marco's going to make sure
Flat out.
he's going to make sure it's the best experience ever. Doesn't matter how much
Yeah,
money it
he
is.
he doesn't care, dude. Like, he flat out, that guy is someone who I inspire to be like, and who's an inspirational person because of where he's come from and what he's done with his life. But you want to talk about a guy who gives with his wallet in a lot of ways towards our game, and just as someone who enjoys it and wants to have a good time and provide a great experience. He is the the top of the mountain when it comes to that stuff, because he none of those matches make any money. Like, he's doing it on his own property. He does all the dirt work. He pays for all this stuff. Like, even as expensive as the match fee was last year, we had that he rented this entire banquet hall at a really nice hotel and catered the food, and there was bar service and all this other sort of stuff. Gorgeous hotel, like nicer than I would ever even say. And he paid for all of it, like, and made it happen. Like, people who want to compare it, yes, it's semi unrealistic. As an organization, can we do something like that on a national scale? I don't know. I'm just a shooter too in a lot of ways, and you know, we should be grateful for what we have, but always searching for more. Like, we can all work together to try and make things better on a local level, which is where a majority of the shooters are, and work our way up from there.
Right. And there's plenty of opportunities, but I don't ever think Nashville's be on that level because, well, or even like an area match. If you look at an area match, they're only making X amount of dollars um,
Hmm.
on the match. It's not like somebody's pocketing exorbitant amounts of money. Because even looking at the budget for my match, it's like I'll make a couple thousand, if that, after doing all the things I got to do. Staff dinners and food for lunches and all this other stuff. It adds up. So it's not like all these match directors are walking away with money in their pocket. That's for sure. And it goes back honestly because we're part of a 50c3 here. We run it through our gun club. We run it through it that way. So we use the money and we reinvest it back into the club is pretty much how it goes.
Exactly. Which, whether you're shooting your local, you're investing in your local club. Whether that's the one down the road or the one that's 2.5 hours away, like shoot at Richmond sometimes. Like, you're investing your time, yes, but you're also investing in that club when you pay the match fee. And you can vote with your wallet, or you can be verbal. I mean, I'm also for everybody voicing how they feel and doing what they feel, but, like, spend your money where you want to be. Like, you're saying some matches aren't having enough people show up. Like, if those people are frustrated with not being able to shoot that match, they should volunteer. Or if they're unable to volunteer, hey, like, I can't volunteer because of my work schedule. I would gladly pay an extra $100 on a match fee so that we can make this match happen, whether that means hiring people, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing money at the problem can help a lot of the ways. And if that means you have to have a higher match fee, if you're getting a better experience, I don't see why not. I'm one of those people who would gladly pay out of pocket a much higher fee at an area match or nationals or whatever else. Like, if it meant that it was going to be a higher quality match. If I was getting a better experience, absolutely. There's no reason not
to. 100%. Like, and I know people like to, they vote with their wallet nowadays, and that's totally fine. If you always want to go to this match because it's awesome, do it. I don't scoff you for not going to X match when Y match is better. And we're in consumerism here, so it is what it is. But I kind of want to get off this topic. It's not that it's a good topic, but I feel like we've also spun around the rabbit hole and beat it to death a little bit. But
I agree. Yeah.
do
We're
you
both
plan
passionate about it. So what happens.
right? But do you plan to go and meet up with any of your teammates and maybe do some training, or just collaborate with them this year?
I would like to try to. I think Travis is coming out somewhere westward at some point. I'd like to meet up with him, but if I get out to nationals this year, which, like I said, is my main goal, I want to get there a bit early and try and facilitate something with going to factory and checking things out, hanging out with David, that sort of thing. Finances be permitting, like we're just talking about how money can make things work or not work. As I'd love to get hooked up with those guys and spend some time training throughout this year. It's just a financial thing. If I can make it work and they have the availability, absolutely, I would love to do it. But nothing is planned at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's always it's just how it kind of goes too. You never know, but it'd be kind of exciting. It'd be nice to see if you get to meet up with your other teammates. Have you? I know you're on a Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on your little Facebook group. Do you communicate a lot with all those people, or is it more just just check in with everybody every once in a while?
It's kind of a check-in thing. Like some of the people, our head of media people will post things, or Travis will send out emails, and we kind of talk that way. There's not a huge, like, I haven't gotten to know anybody super thing. You kind of see what other people are doing, but there hasn't been a lot of connections built, which is on me. I just haven't uh put forth the effort to really communicate and get closer with everybody. As you know, I'm a really introverted person as it is, but I want to talk to guys like Andrew, and I talk to Travis pretty regularly, but I'm just an introvert, so kind of hard to do those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And it's sometimes it's odd to talk to somebody out of the blue without like an introduction. It seems like from somebody, uh, because it is so weird. Like, you run in totally complete different circles, right? Like, it's just kind of how that
Well, in other
works.
parts of the country too, like a lot of those guys are towards, the middle of the country, like where you're at, and on the East Coast, I'm like over here on the West Coast going like, hello.
Yeah, because you're really the only guy on the West Coast, aren't you?
Yeah, as far as on the pistol team, yeah, I think there's some rifle guys out west, but as far as pistol team's concerned, yeah, I'm the only one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's got to make it harder, because you can't all just show up wearing your green to a match. You're just the green little soldier all by yourself.
Yeah, that's true. But there's ways to get around that. And I hope, moving forward, as after I've made my announcement and stuff like that, I can try and pursue those relationships and maybe push out of my bubble a little bit, get more, try to introduce myself to those people and grow those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is always something good to look forward to too. You never know what the future is going to hold for you too. You never know, something might jump in your lap tomorrow, and you're saying bye California, even though I know you'd hate to do it too because you like where you're at too. Because Richmond's a great
Yeah,
club to go to. Tehima, you love
it's
going
so
to
hard.
Tehima. Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's like we've talked before about it between you and me about just living here where I'm at. Like, I hate it in a lot of ways, but dude, I'm literally 15 minutes from a range that I can shoot out to 1,000 meters. I have 3 dedicated pistol bays, and I can do pretty much whatever I want, and then I can drive 2.5 hours to the pretty much the premier USPSA club in the country, and one of the biggest clubs in the country, where there's anywhere between 110 to 140, 50 people at a local twice a month. Like, it's hard to turn, kind of walk away from that. But if the opportunity did present itself and I was able to move, I absolutely. I'm
Hmm.
tired of living in California. The taxes are pretty brutal here.
Yeah, I can understand that too. Yeah, it's never fun when at some point you like your job, but it's also like, oh, I hate living here because of the price. But I mean, we live where we live because we live there. Sometimes by choice, sometimes by not by choice. But yeah. So I guess what else was I gonna say? I know I forgot of some. I know I probably forgot a million things, but I know it'll pop up at some point. But I'm excited
What do you
for you, dude. What?
go ahead? Sorry.
No, I'm excited for you with this new opportunity with MPA. I know it'll be a good one. They're growing their team. They're expanding their lines. Last year they were this major sponsor of Open Nationals, which really put them in the limelight and got them their guns out there. It showed Andrew came in either fifth or sixth at Nationals with their new guns. So
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to watch the product line develop just since I've been around and getting involved and kind of picked up and stuff like that. Like watching it start from, the DS9 hybrid guns to Travis's signature gun and 40 for limited to, the open gun go from, kind of the high power style gun to what it's at now. And then the Steel Challenge gun, we meant to run those lightweight loads for Steel Challenge to, the IDPA gun, which you can shoot in their divisions as well. And maybe, a limited optics situation going on too, kind of updating and kind of changing the DS9s, which really won't need much to shoot limited optics. It's pretty much ready to rock and roll as it is. And, it's pretty exciting to see a manufacturer jump on, what's trending, what do people want? Let's experiment, let's work through this and develop new products. And it's exciting to work with and for.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we can talk about this limited optics, Oh, well, as we're talking, they're talking at the in-person board meeting
Yep.
about it, yesterday and today. It'll go live at some point whenever it's done. But is it a good thing? Yeah. Do I believe it needs to be its own division? No, but it's time that we update the divisions for what everyone wants to shoot. People want to shoot a 2011 double stack gun. It's just a thing, Staccato made it popular, and now other manufacturers are capitalizing on it, like Masterpiece, Atlas, and you name it. Everyone's got a Slide Ride 2011 now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's taken over. You look at SHOT Show, and there's I think there was 3 or 4 ones that I saw that came out. There's a company that runs on Sigmags. There's a kind of a really budget ended one. You've got the Prodigies and all this other stuff. Like, it's great to see the market expand, because competition, as we know, is what breeds things improving. I mean, if you look at red dots from 10 years ago to red dots today, it's all because of competition. It's crazy what the market has, what manufacturers have been like, well, we don't really make this yet. And the shooter's like, hey, man, but like the Seymour cool, but I want it like smaller. I want to put it on my Slide Ride gun, and, to watch the manufacturers catch up because the competition's been amazing. And 2011s and carry optics or limited optics as itself, dude, I don't know. With the fact that how the thumb rest thing went down and the weights things just randomly changed, or even positionally, like where the gun has to be. After the whole IDPA thing happened with them banning that one guy from drawing from appendix, to all of a sudden, what was that, like a month later, USPSA is like, hold my beer, you can shoot from appendix now, like whatever division you want, put your stuff wherever you want. Like, action type just doesn't matter. I messed around with a 320 yesterday, and it was all done up just like the in a Glock 2 that has the Tammany triggers and all that stuff. There's literally no difference. Those trigger pulls are just as nice. Maybe they don't break as easy and they don't feel like a mechanical 1911 trigger. It doesn't matter. Their guns are just as accurate. They're just as heavy, if not heavier. Like, my old open gun weighed less than what the max for carry optics is. A guy with a CZ A01 or Shadow 2 with brass grips and all that crazy stuff weighed more than my open gun. So what does it really matter?
Right. Now, I mean, the only thing they have is these things do, like, they can weigh more. Like, there are carry optics guns like the DWX that weighs more than my open gun. It's just a thing. Like, yeah, they had to pimp it out with a bunch of brass, but they got it that heavy. Yeah, the thumb rests, I don't know. I kind of would like to see limited optics be kind of just thrown into carry optics, or even just test it out.
Provisionally.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say provisionally put it in with carry optics. That means the hit factor's already set. They're achievable. They're not crazy blown out like a lot of the open ones are. Even the new open ones, like I shot one yesterday, it was pretty crazy. It was 4/10 away from being either a GM or literally a bottom of A class. That was all it was, less than half a second, which is a ton of time in USPSA. But still, it's insane. If you take that to a layman person, they're like, that's like no time at all. And that's the difference between like Hundo and like A class. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, carry optics and is what it is now is the biggest division. And adding single action to it, I mean, it's going to change it a fair amount. But really, guys who already shoot like a Shadow 2 and they can shoot from single action, what are they going to do? They're actually going to make it so their safety works, and they're going to pull their trigger, pull their hammer back, and they're going to put their safety on. And then they've got literally one of the best guns that you can do it with, as far as what's existing, what they're already using. Right. And Nils is still going to slap everybody with a Canic. Now he's got a steel Canic. Like, dude, we all should know by now. It's not it's the Indian, not the arrow thing. It's the shooter, not the gun. We've all seen top level shooters shoot with suboptimal platforms and destroy people. It's the people who put in the work. It's people who keep hammering and practicing and training and have the ability who are going to win. It doesn't matter what they're shooting. As long as it's reliable and accurate, they're going to continue to crush it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, would I like to see this limited put it in carry optics? I'd like to see them all have bucket holsters. I don't think we need to make another race division, if you want to call it that, because the guy who's really going to show up to this, with a 2011 is going to be either a Prodigy or a Staccato. You're going to see your dabblings of the higher end builders there, but it's going to be a production style 2011.
Yeah.
So you put them in bucket holsters, you figure it out. Do you add magwells to every other gun, or do you get rid of the magwells on the guns that come with magwells like they currently do? But I don't, I'm going to say this. I keep saying this every podcast I talk about it. I don't care. I have an open gun. I don't care.
Yeah, that's, and I'm on that fence too, to a certain extent. Would I switch to limited optics myself? I don't know, probably, just because making scary ammo kind of sucks. But it's also open is the Formula One. That's gets beat like a dead horse, like this whole limited optics thing. Open is literally the most fun I've ever had shooting. Shooting out to a grand or shooting, close targets. You hammer a 12 split with an open gun, and the doubles are literally on top of each other. Basically, it's a little snowman, bro. That is a feeling that really you can't touch with any other platform. Limited optics, would I shoot it? Absolutely. And people are going to shoot it, and I hope they allow it. I'm pretty sure they're going to allow it, kind of how the board's acting. They more than likely will. But the fact remains of it's not going to break the divisions, I don't think. It's not going to change anything. Hopefully it'll bring some more people who want to shoot a specific action type. But also, let's say you allow everybody into carry optics. The guys with the striker fired guns who are already used to shooting minor, who are already used to shooting this division and how it plays out, are going to still dominate the people who come in with striker fired or with hammer fired guns because they're already used to it. Like if you pulled me into carry optics right now with a Slide Ride 2011, like a DS9 hybrid, I'm going to struggle to learn that balance of shooting minor again versus shooting guy who's already been shooting carry optics with like an X5 or a Shadow 2. They've already got that figured out. They've got it dialed. They know the hit factor math. I'm talking a top higher end shooter. They're going to have that dialed in a lot sooner. And, even at a major match level, they're going to do better for the most part, or if you take a guy who's been shooting limited major and who has the carry optics gun, say he's been shooting it just because, limited's kind of dead, they're going to do quite well too. If they can understand storing, if they're a limited minor guy, it's, wow, I've got a dot now. It's easier to shoot steel. Everything's easier to dot. So I think it adds more interest. And as a person, even without being a sponsored person, even before this, I've told you many times, it's going to help the divisions grow, not hurt things. Sure, it's going to pull from open, it's going to pull from limited, but, people are going to shoot what they want to shoot, and they should be able to shoot whatever they want to shoot. And what division that is, do we need to add a 10th? No. Should we consolidate? Yes, but let's just put limited optics and carry optics. No magwell, because we all,
for the one reload that everybody does, it doesn't
everybody's doing one anyways. Yeah, we were talking about this before the podcast. I mean, really, it's one reload. And yes, classifiers and stuff like that. But come on, look at those Legions and look at those Gen 5 Glocks. And everybody's honed them out and made them basically a magwell from the factory anyways. So with a little bit of work on the grip design, you could do the same thing. It really wouldn't take much.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's definitely a lot less differences between the action types than people make it out to be, than it was like even a couple of years ago when like we first started talking about 2011s and carry optics. I mean,
100%. The trigger technology is huge from what it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even.
Well, yeah, and then at some point, it really just doesn't matter. But like I said, I want to do what's best for the sport. I want to do what's best for participation, the competition itself. But for me, at the end of the day, is I chose to have an open gun build, so I'm going to shoot open. So whatever they really do doesn't really affect me in the slightest because I'm going to shoot open with 171 big sticks, and we're going to have fun.
Big stick energy, buddy.
Yeah. Why is that not a T-shirt? Someone make that a T-shirt.
Said that T-shirt company you like. I thought they made one that said Big Stick Energy.
Maybe, I don't know. It says big. It has something about big sticks. I can't remember. I have to look at it. It's been a while since I've seen that shirt. But yeah. Dougie, I think we're near the end. Let me see how much time we have on this. Yeah. Oh, it's time to get to the end. Not that I don't love our conversations, but we got to get to the end of this one. It seems like. we've talked about a lot of the stuff that was always good to talk about, but other than MPA and Dominate, is there any other companies who are supporting you or that you want to give a shout out to?
Definitely Brian at Honors HD Gold. He's been a really great supporter of everybody, not only myself, but like in general, like you could break your stuff or have issues or borrow it at a match and all their stuff. Brian's amazing. I know he's going through it with some personal stuff right now, but Honors HD Gold glasses are amazing, and still continuing that sponsorship this year as well. And then my two local gun ranges, they're the ones that I sponsor as well. Tehama Shooters, which is outside my home range in Red Bluff, California, and then Richmond Rod and Gun Club, which Richmond, California, Richmond Hot Shots. Without those two ranges, I wouldn't be who I am and what I am today without them. The level of competition and stage design, camaraderie at Richmond, and the friendship and growing as a person as I've had locally with my own home club just wouldn't be who I am today. So those two people, those two places, and all the people associated with them matter.
100%. Yeah. And it's always good to, give back to those guys and help people who help you bring you up in the sport too. So that's kind of awesome too. Dougie brother, thanks for coming on. I mean, we always love chit chatting, but it's always thanks for coming back on so we can share about your new news about MPA. It'll be a great development and journey for you, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks, brother. And to the listeners, guys, thanks for listening week in, week out. I greatly appreciate it. But till next time, get out and do the things, and I will see you on the next one.